In this video, we are forecasting multiple days of heavy snow, blizzard conditions, and dangerous cold across the U.S. Forecast models are starting to agree on a track for our next big storm, but there is still some uncertainty. We're going to analyze all of this so you can know how to prepare. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. As always, it seems there's a lot going on out there, so I'm not going to waste your time. We're going to jump right into it. But real quick, if you could do me a favor and slap that like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel, it would mean a lot to me so we can get this information out to even more people. Now, let's start talking about the weather. All right, here's a big old look at the United States of America, and upon first glance, it probably looks pretty quiet out there, but it's actually not. Those of you up here in the north central U.S. down into the Great Lakes region know exactly what I'm talking about. These snow showers are no joke, as they have been packing a punch from South Dakota, North Dakota, all the way through now into Wisconsin and Michigan. If we take a look at the current watch warnings and advisories, we actually have some blizzard warnings out there in the orange, and that was for this system, which was causing major blowing snow and drifting snow problems out to the west, and it's going to continue to do that right here in the Great Lakes. For the next several days, we're going to continue to see high winds, blowing snow, blizzard conditions out here, especially if you are on the eastern or southeastern side of any one of these lakes. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you like the snow, you're going to love this, but if you don't like the snow, it's going to be downright miserable out there, as our next big storm is going to cut to your south and then really cause some of that northwest flow to kick in. So there's going to be a lot of lake effect snow. Some people are going to see 2 feet of snow in the next little bit, so be ready for that over here in the Great Lakes region. Now, if we go over here to the west coast, you can see the culprit. All kinds of moisture getting fed into the central and eastern portion of the U.S. from this Pacific stream that just continues to dump rain and snow there in the Cascades. It's raining in Portland right now. I think we're getting a little bit of a break there in Seattle, but that's going to change later today, trust me. And a little bit of this piece of energy is going to escape the Rocky Mountains over the next couple of days and then come out here and start our next big storm, which is what we're going to talk about now on the weather models. All right, starting out here on the west coast with the NAM 3-kilometer model. This is what the radar could look like as we go into the future, and if you want to keep up with the date and time, it's always above my head there. In Eastern time, remember that, okay? We're starting off over here in Mountain and Pacific time, so you might have to do a little bit of a conversion there, but you can see what I'm talking about with that new area of moisture moving into the Pacific Northwest there. Later this evening, the snow, the rain, all of it's going to pick right back up all the way through Seattle and Portland. It even points east into the rest of the Pacific Northwest there. But you can see what's happening here. A little bit of that moisture has escaped, and that's what's going to go over here and combine with some Gulf of Mexico stuff and spark our next storm that we're watching. But let's go ahead and pull this all the way out. I'm going to continue to show you all that moisture that's just going to continue to inundate the Northwest. But I told you the other day, and I continue to believe this, I think around January 7th or maybe on the 8th, we're going to get a little bit of a break over here, okay? I think the rain, the snow is going to slow down for a period of time. But before that break comes here in the Cascades, we're talking about an additional 80 inches of snow on top of what you already got. In some places, over 100 inches of snow on top of what you already have is still on the way. All right, now let's get right into the meat and potatoes. This is what you guys want to talk about. This is our next storm that has the ability to affect a lot of people that watch this channel. First of all, we're starting off today around 8 p.m. and you can see all this widespread snow going on up here in the Great Lakes regions and into Canada, okay? Ontario, southern portions of Quebec. You guys are going to be getting in on this stuff too. Intermittent blizzard conditions, and you know, the snow totals aren't going to be high everywhere, but it's definitely going to be impactful with those winds and the blowing and the drifting snow, so watch out for that. Our focus is going to shift over here to the next storm, but if you live up here, just keep your eye on your location. You see these snow bands? That's what's really going to be causing the problem over the next couple of days, and seriously, 2 feet of snow is going to be possible for some people that get under the right bands. Now, watch this. Gulf of Mexico moisture and some energy from the Pacific Northwest is going to meet here somewhere around the Mississippi River and the Ohio River. We do expect snow in northwestern Tennessee. I think it's going to be kind of like a sleet sort of thing in Memphis, but certainly in Paducah, Kentucky, it's going to be snowing. And this thing's really going to intensify as it goes off to the east. By 6 p.m. on Thursday, we're going to see some moderate to heavy snow from eastern Tennessee all the way up through the mountains of eastern Kentucky into West Virginia and eastern and southeastern Ohio. But this thing is moving fast. The snow is going to exit a lot of those regions by 10 p.m. And now it's moving into a lot of the places that were hit hard the other day by the last winter storm that we had. This one's not going to be as bad, but the Washington, D.C., heavy snow around 12 a.m. Friday, January 7th. Dover, Delaware is another place that got hit real hard. I think you're going to be seeing snow around 12 a.m. as well. But look at this. A lot of the places that missed out on the last snowstorm are going to be getting it this time. All of New Jersey's heavy snow by 4 a.m. on Friday. And the entire island there, Long Island's going to be heavy snow. And then this thing's really going to buckle down once it gets into the New England states, especially Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Our low pressure system is really going to start digging down here, and I think that somebody over here is going to be the winner as far as snow totals go. I don't know if it's Boston yet or not, because you guys are going to see a period where rain could cut into your totals, and that is as far out as our simulated radar can go. Okay, let's zoom out here and get nerdy and really get into the nitty gritty of how strong I think this storm's going to end up being. First of all, what we're looking at here are vorticity and heights, but we're going to continue to refer to these things as wavy things. Now watch this. As I pull this forward, the back edge of our first wavy thing is kind of going to act like a finger or like a hand pushing down into the second wavy thing, making it dip down deeper. And then of course, as we watch this head towards the east coast, we see a little bit of a shift to a negative tilt. Okay, so when that storm is negatively tilted, we can see air move more freely on either side, and it usually, especially in this part of the world, allows for more cold air to come in on the backside and more of that moist air to interact with that cold air, leading to a bigger storm once again. Now remember, we want to see this really deep. We want to see a very well-defined trough there, but what we're actually seeing right now is a pretty straightforward wave. It kind of flattens out rather than deepening once it heads off to the east coast. So that's why we're not expecting like a big time blizzard or a widespread major storm. Another thing to consider here is look at where this energy is coming from. Okay, it's come from the north. It's associated with the polar jet. The last storm that we had that clobbered the I-95 area came from the subtropical jet, which usually means it has more moisture, but in this case, you're going to see a higher moisture to snow ratio. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys are thinking, why are you so complicated, Ryan? Just show us the snow maps. That's what we want to see. Show us the snow maps. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you all the snow total amounts. But very quickly, I got to tell you about something else that should be way less complicated. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. Keeping up with those day-to-day finances and your credit score. And of course, that brings us to today's sponsor, Truebill. It's an all-in-one personal finance app that helps you spend less and save more. I personally use it to cancel subscriptions that I've just forgotten about. It's a problem that I have. But with just the tap of a button, Truebill securely finds recurring charges and cancels the ones I no longer want. I also use it to budget like a boss. Gone are the days of manually updating budget spreadsheets. With Truebill, I can monitor my spending by category and get friendly notifications when I've exceeded one of those. And I can actually visualize my spend to earn ratio by month, quarter, or year. You can also monitor your credit score with Truebill, and they actually offer insight on how you can improve it. Basically, it's awesome. And if you want to download it for free, just go to truebill.com/Ryan Hall or click the link down there in the description. Now let's get back into the video. All right, as promised, we're going to take a look at these snowfall maps. This is the NAM 3 kilometer, and as you can see, there's a very well-defined path here where the heaviest hit areas are going to be. And remember how I told you this storm is associated with the polar jet? This map and a lot of the ones that you're going to be seeing are looking at the 10-to-1 snow ratios. I think we're going to be a little bit higher than that, so let's take a look at a map that factors in those wind chills and the ability for snow to stick. And you can see very clearly the NAM model sees an area of over 8 inches of snow from Tennessee into portions of eastern Kentucky. Of course, there in the mountains of West Virginia, you're going to get a little bit more. And then when that storm really blows up over here in the northeast coast, we're talking about over a foot of snow, more than likely for somebody in extreme southern Maine or northeastern portions of Massachusetts. As you can see, this isn't a widespread major impact storm. New York City gets like 2 to 4 inches. Washington, D.C. gets like 2 to 4, but there will be isolated pockets that see more than that. Here is what the Euro model is seeing, okay? It's a little bit different. This is the higher end of the totals, okay? So we got 6 to 8 inches over here in the Massachusetts area, and then of course another bullseye over here in eastern Kentucky, portions of West Virginia, and extreme southwestern Virginia. And then on the lower end here, we're looking at maybe 2 to 4 inches widespread all the way up the coast. The GFS model is even less impressive here with, 1 to 3 inches widespread up and down the coast. And the Canadian model is similar, okay? So once again, there's a lot of uncertainty here. We don't know how much snow is going to fall. The only thing that is kind of locked in place is the path. If you're inside of this red, circle here, you're going to get some snow over the next couple of days. Specifically through Friday, January 7th, you are going to see snowfall. You're more than likely going to see some accumulation. Exactly how much you see, I'm not sure. I personally like the NAM model. I think somebody in central Kentucky or middle Tennessee here is going to get away with 6 inches of snow. I think there's going to be a widespread area of 2 to 4 inches through the mid-Atlantic up through Long Island and portions of Connecticut, with a couple areas here and there that are going to surprise us with around 6 inches. And then I really do think that somewhere around Boston and Portland, Maine, somebody's going to get buried with snow here. And when I say buried with snow, I'm talking about 10 inches or more. I'm just not exactly sure which of those cities is going to get it. Subscribe to the channel because we're going to have a real-time update tomorrow. Another thing that we are sure of that our amazing weather forecasting technology allows us to know is that it's going to get cold. So here's a snapshot of the low temperatures on Friday morning. And remember, a storm just went by and we got that northwest flow. So we got to factor in the wind chill. And we're going to be in the teens through a lot of the Northeast, and then through a lot of the Ohio Valley, Appalachian region, and even into Tennessee. We're going to be in the single digits. For example, around -5 to -10 through a lot of central Illinois and Indiana. And guys, this is dangerous cold. We're going to be near 0 degrees here through a lot of Nebraska and Kansas, and -30 to -40 in portions of North Dakota and Minnesota. And of course, I put milk and bread advisory in the title there, because if you live in an area like me, if it snows, even if it's only 2 to 4 inches or something like that, then it gets down near 0 degrees after that. The roads are just a mess for several days afterwards. Salt doesn't do a great job in those temperatures. So you might want to go get your milk and bread now. I don't know why. Why do we get milk and bread? Is there some sort of secret milk sandwich recipe I don't know about? I should try that out. But if you need something and you don't want to go out in the single digit temperatures to get it in the snow, let's go ahead and get it. That's what I'm doing. All right, last but certainly not least here, we're going to zoom out and look at the whole country. Of course, we're starting out here looking at the current storm that we're watching. And then of course, all of this moisture over here in the Pacific Northwest going into Idaho, Montana. You can see we got a ridge in the west and a little bit of a trough down here in the east. This warm air is going to advect to the north and east as that trough gets out of the way. Let's watch that happen. Friday at 1 p.m., we're going to be seeing our big storm over there in the northeast, and then some warmer temperatures moving into the central portion of the U.S. It's also around this time that we see a little bit of a break or a lull in the precipitation over here in the Pacific Northwest, but it's not going to be completely gone, okay? You're still going to see your isolated snow and rain showers. It's just going to be not as significant of a situation as we have been seeing. Right here around 10 a.m. on Saturday, you can see something else is starting to happen here with that warm air advection. We also have some Gulf moisture streaming up into Texas and Arkansas, and there is another system up here in Canada that can kind of merge with, and we're going to see something happen there. This is still quite a ways out, but I do believe around a Sunday into Monday, we're going to see another big storm of some sort. Looks to me like a traditional winter cold front where some more cold temperatures are going to come in through the central U.S., spark up with some Gulf moisture and make some showers and possibly some thunderstorms the further south you go. Then that cold front's going to sweep through and then bring some back edge snow there to New England and the northeastern states. And then, of course, leave us with some very cold air once again on Monday. But we're still going to have, waves of warm air come through. Look at this, all the way through Thursday, January 13th. We have another ridge forming here with warm air advecting from the south and west, and it's going to set the stage for another storm to come through after that. But for the most part, after this storm right here, it looks pretty, relatively quiet over the next several days, which is very, very good news. Here's how much snow we can see over the next 240 hours, okay? Once again, our snowstorm here is going to cause some minor to moderate impacts all the way up the eastern seaboard. We're going to see major impacts from all that lake effect up here in the Great Lakes region. Remember, the closer to the lake you are on the southern or the eastern side, the more problems you're going to have with this lake effect stuff. A big snow hole here in Iowa through central Illinois with no snow expected. And then, of course, from the Rocky Mountains through the plateaus and into the Cascades, we're getting buried with snow. And yes, we can take a look at those temp anomalies. The cooler colors are cooler than average temperatures, and the warmer colors are warmer than average temperatures. Remember, even though that, on January 8th, we're seeing some reds here through the Great Lakes regions into the Ohio Valley, that doesn't mean that it's going to be hot. It just means it's going to be warmer than average. And on average, it's cold. So it's just going to be a little bit less cold. But the reason I'm showing you this is because we are still in that pattern where, warmer than average temperatures kind of take place, and then a big area of cold air sweeps through and moves it out of the way. So that just sets the stage for more storms in the future. Right now, I'm not seeing any really big ones, but I am obviously going to have to keep watching this because the pattern does suggest that eventually one of these boundaries is going to spark off something really significant. So stay tuned to the channel here if you want to hear about that before anybody else. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of this channel, and we have gained almost 300,000 subscribers in a year. I'm not sure, but that has to break some sort of record. I know it's not the fastest growing channel ever, but man, we have done something here. And once again, it's not me. It's a combination of both of us. This is an information relay system, and you guys are a pivotal part of that. So please continue to like, subscribe, turn notifications on. We need to get our notification squad really big. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.